Welcome back to Viewer's Voice. For this episode, I plan on covering how people in this generation start to lust more than love. In this sense, of course, we're talking about partnerships, or half the time, not even partners, just acquaintances. People that people meet and then maybe talk to them, maybe interact with them on whatever level, but whatever it is, they will not let it develop into something more special, something more meaningful. Now, pretty sure at least most of the people in their youth, of course, have experienced this in some degree, or maybe have done this to some extent. Of course, it's not something that's rare to lust over people, to only get into a relationship because of lust, or the opposite, to not get in a relationship because you're only choosing to lust over the person. These are things that are relatively still relevant and common, and grow to be very, very more common as this generation continues to develop. A prime example of this, for whoever created it, whoever thought it was a smart idea, the whole 20v1 video things, that is probably the most immature videos out there. Now with the celebrities, okay, I think the video idea, that's unique. I respect that, celebrity wise. But even then, having 20 people in whatever age range, whatever age groups, try to relatively lust or fight over one person, IRL, right, and try to shoot their shots. And some of them shoot their shots in the most, belittling, dehumanizing way possible, right, where they take away their own value to try to make themselves visually more appealing to someone else. It's just, what do you gain from that? Because if you have to lower yourself in terms of looks, standards, whatever, just that you come off as more appealing to someone else, you will not gain anything at all. Even if you do win the person over, the fact that you had to do that in order to gain the person in the first place just shows how little they are worth in altogether. Because under no circumstance should you need to devalue yourself to match someone else, because that just shows they never had much value to begin with, if you have to take away some of your own value to match with them. Now, obviously, dating websites exist, dating apps exist, right? And most of these are built on lust, right? And hopes, strong hopes of developing into something more. But most of the time, people could care less about what they meet and who they meet on those dating websites. They just expect the one night stand kind of one and done kind of deal. And with this generation, we kind of normalize that kind of thing, and that's not great. Because once you do come into a relationship or come across some person where you could see and you could feel that their relationship is way beyond what the heart desires and what your body begins to desire, you realize that you have something very unique, especially when you would want to keep that. Now, I understand this goes way deeper into the person, where some people have shielded themselves up. Some people just refuse to get into anything special, right? Maybe because they're past, maybe because they tried enough times, and at this point they could care less for anything that does take time, does take strength, loyalty, love, right? They want something that's quick, easy, low stress, low maintenance. But then at that point, what's the point of going for it at all? What's the point of meeting people, interacting with people, if you don't plan on building anything with them in the future? Now, some people just have these mutual agreements that when they do start talking, they both know that they want nothing of it besides one and done kind of ordeal. And why? Why hold on to somebody? Why talk to somebody if you only want to play around with them and never get anything deep? Out of fear of being hurt? Is that what it is? Because if all you're holding on to is past pain to make up for what you do in the future, that's not going to cut it, and never will cut it. That past pain is meant for you to learn. If you had a bad relationship and decide to use that as a way to just blow off everyone that comes to you in the future, or use everyone that comes in the future, you're not justifying anything. You just look as immature as the person that probably hurt you in the past. Instead, you should be using that situation, learning from it, or taking your time apart and alone to fix what you have. Now, I'm not saying that everyone just needs to be in a perfect lovey-dovey relationship. Of course, relationships might not be for everyone. But what I'm saying is, we know how people could view each other, right? Everyone has a harsh view of one another, especially if you may have a bad history, right? If you have more bodies than this person, if you look like you're just easy, right? In some form of language, some people might call you easy, right? And you would not want to be talked about in this manner at all, right? I understand some of these terms be getting thrown around left and right, but even then, don't give them a reason to believe it's true. Because if you know deep down that you have value, you have a meaning, right? That you don't want to be just lusting after people or look like you lust after people. Don't entertain none of this. Don't give them a reason to believe that, or don't give yourself a reason to believe that that's all you're good for, because you're not. There's much more out there than just one and done, just linking up, sneaky links, whatever. Because what are you getting out of that? No one in their right mind who knows how much they're worth and how much someone else may be worth will do that. And it's a cycle, because some of the people that do look for that love, right? Look for that bond, look for that connection, that relationship. They will run into somebody that doesn't care about that anymore, and now you corrupted a whole nother person. Now, lucky enough, if they're strong enough, it won't get to them. It may hurt them, but they won't switch up on their character at the end of the day. But some people aren't as lucky. Some people, all they need is one chance, one experience, one encounter, and all this belief about lovey-dovey, naivety, and just thinking that relationship is perfect flies out the window. Now, of course, those aren't great ideas and a mindset to have for relationship, because no, not just any and every relationship is gonna be perfect. Not a single one. But that's the problem. If you do go into a relationship expecting it to be perfect, and now when you get hurt, you think the only way to retaliate with that is revenge, then you were already a lost cause to begin with. The hard truth is, no relationship is gonna be perfect. But what's more important than a perfect relationship is trying to build one, trying to go after one, trying to attain it. Yeah, it may be impossible, but what's important is that you're trying. It means more to try, and it means more to go for it than just settle for less. Settle for what's just there. Because the minute you do that is the minute that your value just starts to diminish, and the more that you basically say that you could care less. You could care less about what people think of you, what you think of yourself, and overall, you won't have any good views on other people, and it may be hard to grow a great view of yourself in the future. And another one of these problems that heavily ties into this is trust. Now, understand, trust is something that's very valuable and very fragile, because the way I view trust, it's something that you can never fully get 100% back. No matter how much you try, you broke the trust. So it's very hard to ever even come close to the maximum that you started off with. Now, respect is different. Respect, honor, whatever, those are very different things in terms of trust. Because you could gain respect. You can gain respect back. As much as you could respect someone, they can respect you. Now, trust, not so much. I may be so willing to trust someone, but they may not be willing to trust me, and that's perfectly fine. That's understandable, right? And also a very important thing to note is that, let's say you do trust someone 100%, and they do something shady, and they break that trust. The max you may be able to trust them ever again, no matter how hard you try, is 80%, because you're still remembering what they did to you in the past. And yes, you have the maximum trust for them currently, but that capacity is only 80%. It can never go back up to that 100%. That 20% margin that is gray is something that they can never get back, right? Because they broke it. But the way I also view trust is, you have to be willing to give the next person the benefit of the doubt. You can't let your attachment and trust issues cling on to every last person, right? So if I had this bad encounter, this bad relationship, and the next person I came across, right, promised to do better for me, and now obviously I'm not going to be as naive to just believe it off the jump. But at the same time, I can't hold what the previous person did against the next person, because it's not their fault. It's a whole new person. Like I said, I'm not saying you have to trust them off the jump. I'm saying you have to give them the benefit of the doubt and believe that it could be changed. Believe that there may not be a repeat. Some people just refuse to do that. Some people just think, happen once, it will happen again. Not that it can, because yes, it can. We all know it can. But they just believe that it will. That there's no in between. There's no possibility. But it's confirmed. It's a definite. And that's a problem. Because already you're limiting yourself. It's like having a fixed mindset. If I want to go out and try something, I want to go out and do something, right? But my mind limits any hope that what I do will succeed. I'm already failing. Because I'm not allowing my mind to even comprehend what it would be if I were to succeed. So, right, same thing applies to relationship. If I'm just believing that the next person, and the next person, and the next person will fail me, the relationship is already over before it started. Because I'm not having a winning mindset. I'm not having a mindset where success is an option, right? And the problem is you take that success away from yourself and you take it away from the next person. I'm not going to understand things like this aren't easy, right? But at the end of the day, you owe it to yourself to try. Because if you just want to take the easy routes, you want to take the easy path, you want to just do what everyone else does, you want to stick to what's there, you will never find what you're looking for. I could guarantee you what you're looking for is not where everyone else is, what everyone else is doing, what you see everywhere else on the internet. That's not what you need. That's what they're doing. That may be where they're at. Shoot, they might not even be getting what they need, but like I said, they're settling for what's there. They're settling for what's less. You don't want to do that to yourself, right? If you have an experience and you know how much it may have hurt you, you don't want to give everything up based on that one experience. You want to try again. Just because you failed the math test doesn't mean that you just give yourself very low hopes and very low esteem for every math test to come in the future. Because you don't know what those final grades could hold for you. Instead of failing, you might ace the test. Right? You don't just want to walk into that test room just thinking, oh yeah, it's going to be a repeat like last time. Because if that's the case, you're already having a losing mindset and you won't ever be able to succeed. Now, maybe even if you do, mentally you still lost. Because why on earth would you be willing to doubt yourself? Why are you holding this weight above yourself when you just let it go? And if anyone else is holding a weight above you and trying to pressure these things into you, they're not right for you. They're not good for you. Because under no circumstance should you or someone else be supporting lustful behavior. Because at the end of the day, not only is it a sin, but it's not something that's right for you or anyone to begin with. To choose lusting over actually loving and to be choosing one night stand over someone that could potentially be with you forever, it's just very careless and very idiotic behavior, to say less. Because me and you both know this is not what you need, this is not what you want, and this is not all that you could have. There's way more out there. You owe it to yourself to go for it, and so does everyone else that thinks it's more important to go after these lustful activities and these lustful people than choose someone that's really going to be beneficial and helpful for them in the future. And hey, let's say you're not ready for that. That's okay. But don't dig yourself an even deeper hole going after people that will not make you prepared, will not make you hope, will not help you and not make you ready. Because only you can make yourself ready. Only you can help yourself. And thinking that you have to rely on other people, or that you can't just rely on anyone and everyone without fully knowing the person and knowing their intent. Once again, very careless, very idiotic. There's clearly more that I can say about this, but I'm very sure and very well aware by this point most people could grasp what I'm saying, and most people have probably seen what I'm saying, even if not first-hand experience. There's definitely a bunch of videos and a bunch of instances up all over the internet where these things occur. With the whole phone swapping thing, thinking you know your whole partner, this, that, and third. Whole time they're doing something so shady, whatever. But even then, don't just believe anything and everything you see on the internet. Just because you see those little swap your phone things, that could be in a whole different region, whole different time period, whatever. It's not going to determine what's going to happen in your life. Because you got to think about it. If you think of every one of those swap your phone things you ever seen in your life, you could probably think of 40 people you've seen, 40 couples you've seen. There are way more than 40 couples on the world, and most of these people would not still be together or had the children that they had if they were being so unfaithful to each other. Now, clearly, yes, obviously, some people will have children without fully being faithful. But what I'm saying is you can't just believe that every couple is destined for failure and a breakup, and that every relationship that you get in is destined for the same fate. That's all I'm saying. But anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for today. Like I said, I would believe everyone understands what I'm saying and they could grasp the idea. Next video, I'm gonna leave a poll and just vote for what you want to see next. But that's all for today.